You know what? You know what messes me up, but I think I might be right. If you have to have so many trailers and different trailer versions, the movie's probably bad.
I don't even generally watch trail. Like I used to seek
I
out
do.
every single trailer, and I've gotten to the point now where I feel like the more trailers I do watch, the less I ultimately enjoy the film, because they've gotten to the point where they're just like, oh, here's all the funny parts of the movie in the trailer. And I think you're right. Like that's a staple of movies that aren't well made to begin
Right.
with. But it feels like they've been doing that more and more, where stuff where I'm like, God, why did they put that in the trailer? You
And
know, like
I'm almost scared if I'm right because Black Adam only has 3 variations of the trailer, so it might be a good movie.
You haven't seen Black Adam yet?
No, and I'm going to wait on that.
I'll put it this way.
I'm gonna.
Black Adam is not as good as Wakanda Forever. Black Adam is better than other DC movies, but it's still not to that level of cinematic quality. It is a.
Is it better than? Is it as good as the Batman?
Not even the same cat. It's not even the same genre, bro.
Is it better than Shazam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want
Aquaman.
If Shazam is Andre's Thor: Love and Thunder, then Black Adam would be Chris's Peacemaker.
Oh, then I gotta wait till it just gets on streaming because I'll be pissed. I just can't. I can't do that to myself. Yeah, my wife saw the new Shazam trailer. She says, "You can see that by yourself."
Oh,
I mean, the first Shazam was okay. You know,
the first Shazam got a lot of build up because it was a surprise. People didn't think it was going to do good at all, and the comedy was refreshing for a world that took itself way too seriously.
Yeah.
And now we're in the stage where they're trying to backpedal some of that.
I don't know. There were parts of it that were good. There were plenty of issues that I had with it too.
I enjoy The Rock, but I think his self-promotion of the movie makes me not want to see the movie.
I will say, after watching it, he definitely overdid it on the promotional aspect. Okay. You know, with the whole Under Armour endorsement, his whole new clothing line, his really shitty energy drink flavors that are just the worst. I drank energy drinks like crazy, and that was disgusting. Like I said, it tasted like sweaty guavas. But he thing is, he went to a lot of conventions and a lot of interviews, a lot of night shows, where he was saying that his entire career is built up to this one moment. And I think he had to say that because of how much money he personally put into the movie to get it going. Because this isn't a movie that DC even was confident in. They didn't want to put a villain as their head showrunner. He's
not a villain. He's an anti-hero.
That's the thing. But DC doesn't see Black Adam as an anti-hero. They're very... DC's problem is there are no shades of gray. You're either all good or all bad. And
say it's black or white?
Yeah, sure. But get out of here, Chris. I'm talking. But for a while there, we can see how DC is trying to stand out, but at the same time catch up to Marvel in the sense of they need gray areas. They need more character development. They need more believable character development.
They need the Batman. They need to have Matt Reeves. Already have it.
If Black Adam came out before the Batman, I think it would have done better.
Why do you think that?
Because the Batman, like I said, you know,
did it raise the bar?
The Batman is it. The Batman it actually literally say you guys can use these characters and make good movies.
Yeah. Like a thought-provoking crime detective noir movie. Yes. Stylized, beautiful. I don't buy books much, but after I watched that movie, I went and bought the damn prequel book. Like I needed to know more about that version of Bruce Wayne, that character. I have no interest in doing that for Black Adam. I'm not going to run to the comic book store and try to see if I can find some novelizations that are clearanced out.
Some C-.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the translation of Black Adam to the big screen. It's not an easy character to get. I think Rock did better than expected.
He looks like him. To be honest,
Yeah,
with you,
no,
right?
I'm saying he did. Other than the hair, no hair. He looks very much like the character you would expect, especially his physique. But I think what this movie really shows, and it's the same thing that Joker showed, DC doesn't know what is going to land with their fans, and they're adverse. They're very, they run away from risk. And the Joker had a very small budget, and it blew everybody out of water. Black Adam had an incredibly long development
10
process.
years.
Yeah.
10
and that
years.
was because of, COVID and other stuff. But really, at the end of the day, it was just, they didn't have confidence in it. They were working with The Rock because that's what he really wanted to do. But at some point, they're like, we're not going to give you any more money. The Rock had to put his own money into it. So for what we're getting, what we're getting is a WWE superstar with making a movie. This is not the Marine.
His name is John Cena.
Dude, I saw that video the other day and just laughed for 20 minutes. I don't know who turned me onto that, but
I think we did when we were at E Area.
Yeah, my nephew, he's a big wrestling fan, and it drove my sister insane. We're like, what? I think it was last Thanksgiving or the one before that. And I played that video, and we just sat on the couch and laughed for like 20 minutes.
It's fucking hilarious.
I'm like, Alex, have you seen this? He goes, what? I'm like, look at this. He goes, so we're just calling to let you know that, you support the veterans, right? Yes, I do. We have a veteran that you really love to support. He, blah, 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 words. His name is John Cena. And it's just...
Joe, you've seen that, right?
Nope.
The prank call?
Nope. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're missing life.
Well, let me finish. Let me finish this before I lose my train of thought. If this movie came out right after Shazam, it would have done great. It would have followed that hype. It would have been interesting.
Right.
It was right on the same vibe. Even though the character's way more serious, it's right on the same vibe. And it answers what happened to the other wizards. Why was there only one? That I appreciate the world building on that was nice. It was subtle. It wasn't in your face. You just had if you're paying attention, you realized. But and being a huge Black Adam fan and knowing the origins of the character and how many morally decrepit things he had to do to maintain his power for the greater good, as he called it, that's what I wanted to see. But we know we can't do that with The Rock because The Rock is it's The Rock. He's freaking guy. He's got to maintain that image.
Let me be fair. I am a big fan of him as a person. Like, I'm not a wrestling fan, and I think he's also typecasted in movies. But like, I want to see him be successful, and he looks like the character. If he brings part of that to the screen, then I'm not going to crap on it. I don't want to see it in theaters. I don't want to pay $16 for that. But I'll definitely watch it.
I'll put it this way: and just the opening weekend of Wakanda Forever, it had already topped what Black Adam made in a week.
Word?
Black Panther has so far already exceeded everything that Black Adam has made.
Yeah,
and they came out and
I think that's
2
fair.
weeks apart.
I think it's fair
or a week apart
because Wakanda Forever has a lot of legacy coming in. A lot of continuation.
Damn!
Yeah, I don't think
that's what's your boy's name from Friday? Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. Yeah. I think Black Adam is doing better than we thought it was going to. I don't think there's much more we can get out of that. I would love to see Black Adam in another movie, but not as the main character.
Do you think that's something where now that the character is established that they will bring it into another DC film?
I think they're going to because of that end credit scene.
Yeah, with him and Henry Cavill.
I'm not sure how they're going to work that out. I mean, at the same time, I'm not sure how we're going to work out these legacy characters, Atom Smasher and all that.
What I think I'm actually excited about is Blue Beetle. I think Blue Beetle will actually give it will give DC some footing, to be honest with you. I think that they're stretching in a way where they have the characters. It's just about the stories they're telling, which that they don't work. The Batman is a character we all know and love. It's just the story was able to get good footing. I think from what I've heard about Blue Beetle, that may be the movie that actually gives them a footing to say, okay, we can breathe. And the reason I say that is I think that Blue Beetle is going to be kind of like Titans. And Titans is one of those shows where even in the lulls of the episodes, I enjoy the show. So that's where I think DC's heading. If they can figure out ways to get the right writers, the right directors, they're doing a good job with the casting, but they need to seem to marry the story with the presentation, and they'll be good.
You know, I've said it before, and I'll say it 1,000 more times. DC needs to stop trying to connect their movies. They just need to go out of their way and make a story. They need to do something outlandish. They have the entire Elseworld catalog they can pull from.
You know, some of the best stories are Justice League stories, and they keep missing they can't hit anything with the Justice League.
But do you think the problem is that they haven't established good enough standalone films to then bring it all together in the Justice League?
I think the misconception is that you need standalone films to build into a team up. If we just threw us into a movie with them already pre-established,
we're
without,
good.
Yeah, just make it happen. Don't give us any backstory. Don't give us follow-up. Let us be completely naked to this world and fall in love with it naturally versus.
I agree.
When you sell a mattress, I shouldn't have to explain to you what's in the mattress. Here's a mattress. Lay on it.
But are you saying that you think they should retcon the existing Justice League and all those characters?
No, they don't have to do that.
Or
just move them forward. Just have the next story. People that are interested into going to see these movies, they're probably not going to do homework, and if they do,
they're not going to care.
It's going to be like, oh,
no. But I guess I'm just trying to understand, because like I guess I felt like when Marvel made Iron Man, right?
Stop. Yeah. That's where you're messing up.
Okay. Tell me how I'm messing up by saying when Marvel made Iron Man.
Because Marvel had the runway.
Iron Man made Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel had the runway to not have to do that. And then it's probably garnered enough trust, and it probably helped to boost. Like if you look at cosplay stuff, it's like it's just grown exponentially since Marvel's taken a good foothold.
A good foothold.
Yeah, good fuckhole. You don't have to do that You don't have to do that anymore. People that are going to be interested in that content, that genre, they're going to go do the homework now. So I think Marvel probably did a lot of the Marvel laid the foundation to say, hey, this movie's coming out. It's about Iron Man. We're going to give you the backstory. So let's say you're like the next generation to watch that movie. You're like, oh, but everybody's talking about that. Let me go do some research. People are going to go look and, oh, who's this person? They're going to look at Wikipedia, blah, blah, blah. We're not at that point anymore. As a society, we accept superhero movies. And if you want to know more of the character, you can go do your own homework on that. So,
okay. So now I'll finish my thought. That you interrupted and completely assumed you knew what I was going to say.
Snap back.
Damn, that's what we're doing?
I'm not talking about an origin story in the film. What I'm saying is that when they made Iron Man, there wasn't this grand vision of, oh, in 10 years, this is all going to build into Justice or into the Avengers, right?
I think that's what happened. Yeah. From what I've read, that wasn't the case. That they actually had a plan of bringing in the characters they had the rights to.
So my understanding was that Jon Favreau basically came to them and was like, "I want to make an Iron Man movie."
And once it did well, they were like, "Oh, how do we?"
Yeah, once it did well, but they made the very first one as just like, I want to tell an Iron Man story, right? Yeah, it's an origin story, because I agree with you that at that point you needed to understand the backstory of all that. But then I think you look at your least favorite character, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and they didn't do that with him, right?
Well,
they didn't tell how he got his powers. They didn't make you watch Uncle Ben die.
Yeah, Sony did that over
you didn't need to because you've seen it a million times, and because anybody who hadn't seen it was either going to go watch those other films or do the research to understand where Spider-Man came from. And so I agree with you on that point that like it doesn't all have to be origin stories.
Can I apologize for trying to hijack your thought? I apologize.
You may. I'm sorry. I know I snapped back at you, and I was just being a dick. Because it makes for good, entertaining YouTube television.
And there's going to be one more person to say, Andre doesn't get it.
An asshole. Andre's missing the point.
He's missing the point. That should be the clip. You should just grab a screenshot of that. Like, Andre's
missing the point. There you go. Yes. So what I was also going to say is that I think the Batman did a really good job with that as well, right? It wasn't. We didn't watch Bruce Wayne's parents die. Yeah. Bruce Payne
die one more time.
Who are you supposed to be? I'm like, I'm Bruce Payne, bitch.
Instead of being filthy rich, he's always in debt, and he's just doing what he can. He's beating up drug dealers to take their money.
No, but like I think the Batman did that, right? They weren't doing the Batman to build into some larger, like, yeah, maybe they want to tell other stories with it, but it wasn't like, oh, this has to then connect to this massive universe.
You got thrown into Batman year one, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, and that's part of what I thought made it so gripping, is because it's focusing on that story, and so I think that's where DC is struggling, is because as like Wonder Woman, right? They did the Wonder Woman movie, the first one, and it was good. Like, it was entertaining. Then they did Wonder Woman 84 for whatever fucking reason.
Oh, God.
And it was a nightmare. Like, it wasn't good.
Everybody gets a wish.
Yeah. Like,
I wish this movie didn't exist.
Not you. You don't get a wish.
Okay, so you're not wrong, but I think it goes back to what I've been saying. That these companies are trying to get people introduced to their content. How they're introducing it probably is the break, right? We probably don't need to tell how Bruce Wayne's parents died for the 1 million.
Yeah, we don't need to see the pearls hit the pavement. We don't need to see the flowers in the air.
Those are ingrained in our memory. So I think I do believe I believe you're right, and I apologize again. I feel terrible. Andre is missing the point.
Twice in one conversation.
Andre is missing the point. If DC just kind of understands that, like, in both these companies understand you have good content, just show it to people, right? Yeah. Wakanda Forever, like, seriously, you have good content. You can bring these characters in. You can introduce them in a way. You can fill in backstory if it's needed. If not, nobody cares, you know?
And it's not going to make a big difference in five years.
No, it's not.
Exactly. Right. I mean, look, like in the first Iron Man, there was the whole stuff with the 10 rings, right? Which they then just completely abandoned until they got to Iron Man 3.
Later.
And then they were like, oh, wait, major fake out. I had my buddy who was a roommate at the time was so mad at Iron Man 3.
I was.
Right?
A lot of
like,
people were.
Are you kidding me? You turned the Mandarin into that.
I was.
And then,
pissed.
Then eventually they came back and were like, oh, Shang-Chi, we got your Mandarin right here, bitches. And it was actually kind of good.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Not that that's necessarily the way that they should have done it, but.
Or the way he went out. He shouldn't have died like that. The villain.
I mean, that was one of the more heart-wrenching deaths.
It was a good movie though, but
it was. I like Shang-Chi. It was fun.
Anyway,
I watched that a bunch of times.
I'm over like this conversation.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode. In case you ignored my previous instructions, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Oh, and don't forget to tickle that little like button. And if you have something to say, you can drop it in the comment down below. We'll see you on the next one.